Assalamualaikum dear students. My name is Zubair. I am your teacher, and today we are going to discuss a very important topic as far as our poetry is concerned, and that is a Rape of the Lock Canto 1 by Alexander Pope. Rape of the Lock, as you know that, is one of the very important poem from the examination point of view, and one or two lines must given as far as the reference to the context point of view in the examination. And as you know that the question number 1 is very compulsory. You cannot skip from that question, and obviously the reference question you will have to attempt at every cost. If you will miss that question, ultimately you will be considered as a fail. Why? Because that question is compulsory. Now, why this poem is important? Like other poems, different that had been written with the passage of time, and different poets have tried to make differentiations or uniqueness or their superiority as far as their atmosphere was concerned. Alexander Pope, he was very much interested in written mock epic poetry, and mock epic poetry was generally followed by the Greek goddess and the Greek concepts as well. Homer, Hegel, Pope was very much impressed by these poems. That is why he tried to follow them in his poetry. We have already discussed that what this poem had been written, who forced the Pope to write this poem, and today our topic is Canto 1. What is Canto 1? Canto 1 basically describes about the Belinda, who is the epic name of Miss Arabella Palmer, and as well as Baron, who is the nickname, which is a nickname of the Lord Peter. And the poet had tried to write this poem in a funny way. Why? Because he doesn't want to tease anybody. He's in basically his idea or his aim was that he wants to rejoin the both families, aristocratic families. That is why he had written. But one thing should be kept in mind, that he did not, after written these these cantos, he did not at once publish them. No. First he tried to take the permission from the both families, being the Lord Peter and Miss Palmer. If both will allow them, both will recommend him, then he will write that, he will publish that, that poetry. Then obviously when they read the poem, they approved it. As we also knew that this poem, when it was written in basically 2 cantos, and the poem was written in a very short time, of the approximate within 2 weeks duration. And during these 2 weeks, the poet had a very clear concept in his mind as well as the epic poetry was concerned. Although the poem was very serious, that was based in early time in 2 cantos, the first and the Canto 1 and Canto 2. Obviously it proved very good, it proved very successful, and the purpose with which the poet had tried to write this poem, he was succeeded in his aim, and both families once again rejoined themselves and became very happy relationship between them. But somewhere else in his mind he had a different ideas. It means that he wanted to make something different, something amusing, and as well as something different from the other works. Like why? Because he wanted to use something aerial machine, just like we can say the aerial machinery, the muses, the use of muses, and as well as the different things and as well as different conditions which are considered very normal today. But with the help of the epic poetry, he tried to use metaphorical language, metaphorical wordings in his poem. Somehow, when we see that Alexander Pope and just like a John Donne, both these poetries have very clear and close relationships. Why? Because John Donne also used metaphysical poetry. He is considered to be the father of the metaphysical poetry, and somehow he got idea from his poetry as well. But now, as far as Canto 1 is concerned, in Canto 1 we are told about the reason, the condition, the snipping of the lock, the appreciation, and as well as the reconciliation of the families as well. Again, in unit number 1, mean the canto number 1, we are also told about the Belinda, that how she wakes up and how she spends her time, and as well as what kind of her beauty and what kind of cascades, mean the different kind of beautiful articles or beautiful condition, beautiful items that adds the beauty of a lady, and as well as her dress, and by whom she is converted so beautifully like a goddess, mean the Betty, who is her servant, mean who serves her and makes up her just with the help of some cascades and different cosmetics as well. Again, the use of the view of the dream, that is a very important in Canto 1 by the aerial machinery. Aerial is basically kind of a spirit, and this spirit has a very much responsibilities to perform. This spirit is the leader of other spirits as well, snakes, salamanders, knives. Why? Because these I mean to say that these aerial machineries have belonged to a different part of the different condition, like air, earth, water, and fire. Why? Because these four conditions represent different types of the ladies as well. Like the cool tempered maid, later the nature women, they are called the nymphs, and as well as the air, the earth, water, and the fire, according to the predominance of one the other of the other elements as well. The souls of the light-hearted, mean the kind-hearted ladies who feel help to other people as well, and as well as when they transform, when they dies, mean the such kind of lady dies, her soul is transformed into slave, very kind-hearted ladies. And when, and those who are some grave, mean when they have very serious nature and very serious atmosphere, serious temperament, seriousness, they are turned into the spirits of such ladies. When they dies, the spirits of such ladies are converted into gnomes, and then the souls of a very gentle, kind-hearted, and submissive are turned into the nymphs. Again, then the most important, those ladies who are very quarrelsome, who doesn't want to create any kind of peace at home, in our society, and wherever, when they were alive in their life, just like they become specialists, they were very submissive in their real time or lifetime, just like they became the quarrelsome, and they mostly and often spend their time in quarreling with one another and among the people as well. When such kind of lady dies, her soul is converted into just salamanders, just like a quarrelsome lady as well. And then when we talk about the women, who are very conscious about their looks, especially the looks, their physical appearance, and as well as their manners and their morals point of view, that whenever they were alive, they proved their moralities, and when they talked with the people, the talk was based on very mannered, in mannered way. So such kind of when such kind of lady dies, her soul is converted into area, and this condition applies on the both genetics, mean the males and the females as well. Even especially if they are converted into the male. And one of the very important factor, as well as sniffs are concerned, or the ideals are concerned, the poet had tried to use these things, such kind of these elements, these spirits, to amuse the people, especially not the people but as well the families as well. It means that although the basic aim was very serious, he wanted to show the shortcomings of the basic slightly things, slightly manners. He wants to tell the satire, he wants to discuss the satire, follies, shortcomings, irony, all these things that were very much prevalent in that society at the time, but still in a very humorous manner. It means that his aim was that he did not want to hurt anyone, anybody, but in spite of this, he wants to point out their shortcomings as well. Sir, you were wrong there. Ma'am, you were not good there. Man, your behavior was not good at that time. Here, you were wrong. In spite of knowing that, when everybody read that poem and he or she realized where they were wrong, in spite of that, they did not mind it. And this was the quality of the poem, that whatsoever he had tried to use in that poem, that was his, obviously, as we have discussed, that his aim was. Then we are also, he also gave a message through this poem as well, with the help of the area, that every person in his or her life intuitions something. When we say that sixth sense, his or him, sixth sense alerts him about some upcoming danger, and this is what the poet did in the poem, with the help of the aerial machinery. And with the what was his aim? His aim was that in spite of that, the aristocratic ladies, aristocratic women have a very important place in the society, but in spite of this, they must be careful about vulgarity of the people, flattering of the people, and as well as cheating of the people, and especially from those people who calls themselves the true lovers. Why? Because according to Pope, they were not, and they are not. Why? Because whenever every person looks a lady first time and he attracts from her beauty, might be her eyes, her face, her dress, anything else, he at once creates a love passion in himself, love feelings himself, in a very, very short time. Always remember, love does not create or inject anywhere at any time. It means that whenever every person tries to show himself as a lover in a very short time, he is a cheater. And this is what the message that the Ariel wants to tell Belinda, mean the Ariel formula. And this is what and how he warns her about such kind of this danger with the help of dream. Ma'am, be careful. Although you are very beautiful, you are a pretty look, you have a pretty lady, you are very impressive personality, but still there is some mischief, there is something wrong that might be happened I don't know where, when, but today, especially today, when you will go into the meetings with the people, you will have to be very, very careful. Why? Because you have to protect not only yourself but as well as the others. But here, Ariel not only warns her, but as well as he himself becomes very conscious that what kind of a danger that she may face and where. Then we are also told, although she did not go into the meeting yet, she is at her bed at this time, and the time is a noon time, and she did not wake up yet. But in spite of this, when it becomes noon or she wakes up, she calls her servant once, twice, thrice, but no answer in reply. Then she, in angriness, knocks her slippers on the floor. Again, shows her angriness, but again, no reply, no answer. Then, in that condition, she once again lays on her bed and falls asleep. And it was asleep when the Ariel warns her about the upcoming danger with the help of some dream. Then after some time, but before this, the Ariel could conclude her about the dream. Her lapdog, who was sleeping with her, with the help of his tail, he wakes her up. And then when she gets up, she wakes up, she at once looks some kind of a, just like a love letters that had been given from different persons in different ways, who proved to be the loyal and as well as the true and sincere lovers to her. Then she gets up, she finds some dress, she sees some dress, that what kind of a dress she will have to wear to go into the park, to into the party as well, to into the ball, just like that. And then she goes to the dressing table or the for makeup as well. But along with that, the Ariel nominates some different kind of spirits for her protection as well. And although they all remain hidden, invisible, but at their own places, they perform their task assigned by the Ariel to them in hidden condition. And in the end, we find her that she is just like a goddess. After her makeup, she looks like so much very pretty lady. And then she thanks her servant, whose name is Betty, 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 and she gets the reward in shape of thanks. Although in spite of that, the much of the work had been done by the different kind of spirits assigned by the Ariel. This is what the Canto unit number 1, and I do hope that you will have understood this very clearly. And remember one thing: if any reference is given from the Canto number 1, don't be worried about that. You must have a very clear concept into your mind as far as the cantos are concerned. Clear your concepts, read the study, then focus on text. Try to understand that from where these lines have been given. And if you understood that, try to write or explain these lines in your own words. I have seen many students who made a rata. Always remember, dear students, always remember, don't make a rata. Read it, think it, try to understand it, and then ask from your mind, what is this topic about? The answer that your mind will give you, that will be the exact point that you required. In that condition, you will not have to make a rata. As the concept becomes clear into your mind, everything will become crystal clear. And in that condition, whatsoever you will write, you will explain, that will be very clear and definitely to be the point. From here, I do hope that you will have understood our today's lecture regarding Canto number 1, the rape of the lock, very well and very much. Like my video and still subscribe my videos for further videos as well, my channel for further videos as well, and your queries definitely will be welcomed. I must say that will be welcome to polish my knowledge, to improve it. Whatsoever I have gained, I'm trying my level best to give all that knowledge to my students as well with the core of my heart. Thank you very much. See you in next lecture. Take care. Allah Hafiz.